Hey there, and welcome to my lazy review of this movie, Knox Goes Away. But what the hell is Knox Goes Away? Well, like so many films the past few years, I saw no promotions for this, no trailers, no ads, nothing. But I do often check my good old Regal app, and then, hey, guess what? It pops up, and as I always do, I did sit down, I did watch the trailer. It seems like a pretty interesting premise. I mean, Michael Keaton is a veteran actor, and also he's directing. James Marsden, which I do like, and I think the guy is pretty underrated. And I guess the premise is Michael Keaton is a hitman, but I guess pretty early on he's like diagnosed with dementia and he may be dying. And James Marsden is his son, gets into some trouble. It seems like a pretty interesting premise, and that's pretty much it. So I will be right back, and as always, enjoy my intro. All right, I'm back, and I do have some leftover Pepsi and a little bit left over of this Bentley's blended whiskey. And I can tell you one thing, Knox Goes Away, boy, these guys get right into it. The opening 5 minutes, we have Knox sitting there having some dinner with a friend. He starts forgetting things, and then 5 minutes later, talking to a doctor. Well, guess what, Knox? Good news. You don't have Alzheimer's. Bad news is you have dementia. Okay, doc, can we cure it? Well, even worse news, it's incurable and you're going to die in about, 2 or 3 weeks. And damn.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
2 minutes later, his son Miles shows up, played by James Marsden. His hand is covered in blood, and Dad, we gotta talk. I know you're a hitman, you're always a crappy father, and you never did anything for me. Well, you have a granddaughter, my daughter, who's 16 years old. She has a 32-year-old boyfriend. He got her pregnant. Okay, I'm pretty pissed off to say the least. I stopped by, I talked to the boyfriend. Some words were exchanged, but yeah, I got angry, a fight broke out, I took a knife and stabbed the guy repeatedly in the neck and he's dead. I need your help hiding the body, and holy shit.
Okay, I'll cut straight to the point.
And that right there is just the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then the rest of Act 1 and then getting into Act 2, I felt the plot did kind of slow down, and it's like Keaton is not playing an older guy with dementia as like a parody, but also it felt like the dementia just kind of like pops up when it's only convenient for the plot. And I do admit, in Act 3, the last 15 minutes was a pretty good payoff, but it could be subjective if the movie has a good ending or a bad ending, if it's happy or sad. Depends how you look at it. But also, if you did watch the trailer, don't think for a second that this is a big action film. Minor spoiler, the only real action scene that you see is right there in the trailer. So, for the most part, it's a paper thin plot and not a lot goes on. So, that's pretty much it, guys. And every video I do, this one is no different. I always ask and answer three very simple, lazy questions. All right. Number one off the bat is how to feel about the film. It's one of the movies where I didn't love it, but also I didn't hate it. It felt just okay, just fine. It's like the performances, everybody was solid, but like nobody was bad, but nobody was great. Except I'm sure Al Pacino, he just showed up for 2 days and got a quick paycheck. But I do think that the best scenes in the film are between James Marsden and his father, Michael Keaton, and kind of James Marsden just, does all the heavy lifting. That's pretty much all I can say. It's just an average movie, all right? But number two, for me, would I recommend that you see this film? Honestly, it's one of the films where you've kind of seen it all before. There's nothing new, nothing spectacular. I would recommend it, but I also would recommend that you hold off. Like, just, it's not a big rush out and see kind of movie, Which leads into my third and final, but most important question, because thanks to good old Regal, I'm not paying for it, but do I think that you should pay for it? Honestly, I would say, you know what? Save your money.
Didn't I just tell you to save your money?
And for many people, if you did skip it, you're not missing nothing, but it's just sit at home kind of movie, all right? Which leads into my final part of this review where every film I have to rate, this one is no different. So a film like this, Knox Goes Away, starring Michael Keaton, directed by Michael Keaton, not a bad film by any means, but also not a great film by any means. How do I rate this? You know what, sit home and wait for streaming. It's simple as that. Some movies are just, this is one of the films where it shouldn't have been out in theaters. It's just, it feels like a Netflix or just made for TV kind of movie. That's all I can say about it, all right? So as I always do, I have to check my watch. I'm always low on time.
Time is always against us.
I'll see you later. Let me grab Bender. Cheers.
This calls for a drink.
good old whiskey and Pepsi. But one last thing.
It's called a catchphrase.
I hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time, but now I have to head back to work.